Okay, terrific. So my short thesis, I can't cover it all, but it would start, I think, with competition. For the past 6 years, Tesla has owned the luxury EV market, and it was the luxury EV market. It had no competitors at all, and yet with a complete monopoly in that market, and with lavish subsidies totaling billions of dollars, it lost fabulous amounts of money. So through the end of last year, it had lost just a tick under $5 billion. And by the way, those are real losses. They're not profits that were reinvested. There was no CapEx there, okay? That's just the loss. The CapEx comes from constant capital infusions. It has had no profits to reinvest. I don't know where we get this, they're reinvesting their money, because they have none to reinvest. So this year, they've already lost, they lost 700 million plus in the first quarter. They're on schedule to lose about that amount again in the second quarter. And now Tesla is getting competition in this luxury EV space. Jaguar's I-Pace has arrived. The scores of journalists who have driven it and reviewed it think it's superior to the Tesla cars. Next year, we'll see luxury EVs from Audi and Mercedes. And then following that, you'll see Porsche and Volvo. We already see sales of the Model S falling off, and that's what's been the high margin car. The average sales price has been dropping. The Model 3 is cannibalizing the Model S, it appears. And I think that the introduction of the luxury EVs from these competitors are going to gut the margins further. And I think in Europe already, Tesla is no longer the aspirational luxury EV. And within a year, that will be true in the US and Asia. So we're told, well, the Model 3 is what Tesla's future is. It will be the money-making car. It will sell in hundreds of thousands of units. Well, it's been in production for a year now, and Tesla has lost more money during the 4 quarters it's been in production than in any other one-year period in its history. Now, Tesla can break even, perhaps, maybe even make a bit of money selling the Model 3 at an average price of $60,000. That's what it's going to attempt to do for the remainder of this year, when it offers the all-wheel drive, long-range versions and tries to upsell some of the premium packages. But the addressable market for a car that expensive, especially a sedan, is quite limited. Tesla is going to run out of demand at that price point. The promised $35,000 car doesn't exist. Musk said Tesla will lose money and die if it tries to sell the car for that price. If it ever does exist, there won't be any tax credit that goes with it, any full tax credit. And a lot of the deposit makers were counting on that. So competition to me is a huge problem. I don't think Tesla has some competitive advantage. There's no moat. Yes, the supercharger network is better than what anybody has right now, but in Europe, they have a CCS network going in that will be superior. And any time Tesla's competitors decide it makes sense to duplicate a charging network, they can get together, agree on a standard, and do it in short order. Valuation is a huge, ultimately it's all about valuation. GM has a price equity ratio of about 6, Ford is about 7. Let's say Tesla, we're going to have double that, let's call it 15. With its present market cap, Tesla would have to have earnings of $3.5 billion per year to achieve even that inflated ratio. There's just no way to get there from here. In terms of Galileo's points, he's betting on Elon Musk, whom I think is a very irrational person. I would love to hear Galileo's view about his accusation that the diver in Thailand was a pedophile, and his view about whether that's incredible leadership. Elon Musk is not an incredible engineer. He's not an engineer at all. He's not an incredible leader. If he were, all his top management would not be exiting as quickly as they are. The EV revolution isn't coming, okay? Right now, EVs cannot survive without subsidies. The batteries are just too expensive. Someday that won't be true, but they're not price competitive right now. They're a niche product without subsidies. So that's just way down the road. Australia, I don't see any energy storage breakthroughs by Tesla. The Australia project was at best break even if Tesla didn't lose money on it. There's a lot has been written about Australia. It's an underwhelming nothing, and it certainly wasn't profitable. So I guess those are my thoughts, and I think Galileo's turn.
Okay, yeah. So taking a step back, I'm a Tesla shareholder and big fan of the company. The biggest reason I'm invested in the company is the CEO. I like to bet on the jockey, not the horse. So I think Tesla's in a really unique position in that Elon Musk is one of the smartest leaders in the world right now, just given his track record of starting and selling software companies like Zip2, PayPal. He has a track record of being a visionary, first mover, disruptor. At the same time, he's also shown an incredible combination of being both an incredible engineer and a business person. which I think is incredibly rare. And so I think of him as almost a technical founder, sort of CTO person, as well as an incredible business person. And so that's the first lens I look at Tesla through, is an incredible leader, and that's who I want to bet on. The second is, one of my investing sayings is, the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. And I believe that there's a massive opportunity for our transport systems to get electrified and also to become autonomous. And I think Tesla is a leader and first mover in both of those areas. And I think a successful company, and I think if they successfully execute in building a company around those two problems, then this can be a huge, huge company. And, I have a very similar philosophy around their energy business, where I think there's a huge problem where a grid needs to go sustainable. And by them fixing that, will there in turn create an incredible business. And so I think the company right now is in startup mode. And so they're burning a lot more capital than they're taking in, because they're expanding production. They're building out massive factories to be able to pump out millions of cars per year, not just a couple 100,000. And that's why their income statement and financials look like they're losing money now, when the reality is the bulk of that is going towards investments to build the future. And a couple stats and data points that get me really excited about Tesla is, this is a company that's been compounding revenue at 93%. They got to they're going to get to 20 billion in revenue from 100 million faster than Amazon did. So they're literally one of the fastest growing companies of all time. If you look at their vehicles delivered per share, if you look at their revenue per share, these numbers are compounding well above 50% since the IPO. And so I believe we're getting a lot of tremendous earnings power and value being justified, even though the company isn't actually producing positive earnings yet. And I still think we're sort of in inning one of Tesla. Well, right now they're just selling high-end cars. They're going to reinvest that, use their technology to bring cheaper and cheaper cars to market, taking a larger and larger portion of the auto market, while simultaneously improving their battery technology and continually to serve, these grid-scale utility projects like the one we saw in Australia. And so I think, in the future, this company will look a lot different from just selling the Model S and X, these luxury cars that are on the income statement now. And it'll be selling, 10 times as many cars. It'll be a huge player in energy. And then I think what they're doing in terms of autonomy will become a key puzzle piece later in the story. And so that's sort of my overview, high-level vision of Tesla is, you have an incredible CEO. They're building amazing products. And I think they have a really unique sort of combination of Apple-esque perfectionism and minimalism and focusing on the customer, as well as this sort of breakneck growth at all costs, Amazon-style fiscal engineering strategy, which makes them one of the most fascinating investments right now. And I think, although I'm incredibly excited about Tesla and think this has the opportunity to become, a several $100 billion company, the world's largest automaker by market cap, because I think they'll be selling their cars more profitably than every other automaker. And so, yeah, that is sort of my overview, high level of the company.